alright, mate.
Yes, mate. How you doing?
I'm alright. I'm living the middle-aged dream. I'm under my blanket.
You're going strictly portrait as well, are you? Shall we go? Are we going portrait?
I don't know. I can turn it around.
There we go.
Yeah. Hang on. Oh yeah, it's weird because I hold. Hang on. I've got to work out how to hold the camera without getting my hand across it. That's it. It's really awkward.
So you're in Skate Pharm Palace.
I'm at home.
Skate Pharm Mansions.
Yeah, mansions. Skate Pharm mansions.
Under your duvet.
It's like one of those consolidated blankets.
I was going to go more with the Sauber style.
Yeah, no, it's consolidated.
Is it?
I think Wingy gave me this for my birthday or something, like about 20 years ago, like 15 years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good. These are great. Get yourself one. I've been decorating the shop today, and then I went for a walk, cooked a bolognese, and now I'm under the blanket watching Mandalorian. It's alright. And drinking Horlicks.
I've just realised I haven't even asked you to introduce yourself. People should know who you are, just like they should know my previous guest.
I'm just like a head. Like Humpty Dumpty.
May you please introduce yourself?
No.
No, too late.
Hi, I'm Nic Powley.
And what do you do apart from be a head on a top of a blanket?
Look at it, it looks amazing. I look like a sort of octopus.
What are you doing?
I'm seeing if I could make it look like my beard was walking. It's not going to work.
Oh.
Right, anyway, yeah, hi, I'm Nic Powley. I own Skate Pharm and stuff.
Brilliant. Okay. I feel like this question might be already answered. How's your sanity during isolation?
I'm alright. I don't do anything. I don't go out and I don't see anyone, so it hasn't made any difference to me at all, really. If anything, more people call me up at the moment because they're all bored.
Right.
But honestly, like, it's made virtually no difference to my life whatsoever. I don't go to Tesco's every day. I go like once a week. That's literally like my average day anyway. Is I get up. I live on my own anyway. I get up. I cycle to the shop, or I drive if I've got to take stuff. I sit in the shop all day. I drive home or cycle home, and then I might get out on my bike, or I don't really do. I'm the most boring person ever. I don't do anything. Like, I mean, the gym shuts. I haven't been going swimming at all, and obviously I haven't been skating. But, like, I don't know. It's not really made much difference.
And so I guess so you haven't had to develop any coping strategies to get through isolation, because like you say, you're pretty much still doing the same stuff. You're going to the shop, you're dealing with stuff in the shop, and you're going home. I
think, like, it depends on your personality, doesn't it? Like, I'm quite happy in my own company. I'm quite happy just... I mean, I like being outside. I prefer being outside to being indoors, but also when it's like... My flat, I don't know if you've seen my flat, but I've got, like, a big balcony that looks out to sea. So it's like, it doesn't feel like living in a flat in the city. It's like, right. I open the doors and I can see for about 20 miles. So it's like, you can pretty much see France or whatever from my balcony. So
nice.
It's weird, like, because you can see the sea from my bed. So, like, you get a real sense of space even when you're indoors. So it doesn't kind of drive you mental like it would do. Like it could do.
All cooped in the city, like, yeah.
Yeah, you don't get that feeling. I don't get that feeling here at all. And also, like, I can literally just walk out my door and it's about, I don't know, like 50 metres walk to the beach.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's literally like where I am now. You can't really see, but that's the window, and then that just faces out. to see.
Wow.
So it's like I can just sit on a sofa in the summer. I sit on a sofa with the doors open, and you can see the boats and the wind farms and stuff.
Literally living the life, living the dream.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's weird. Like I'm 48 now. It kind of suits my age. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't like it when I was 25, but I do like it now. It's chilled.
Nice. So that's some of the Corona stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, in amongst all that craziness, came the even crazier news yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to meet Jeff Grosso?
Yeah, not like we were like mates or anything, but yeah, I met him. I wouldn't even quite a few times over the years, like just random. I think probably the first time I met him was at Shut Up and Skate competition at Southsea in about 1990, maybe.
Wow.
Like that was just, I don't know, like that was just at the end of him riding for Santa Cruz and like riding for Lucero, like Black Label, that sort of time. Like, yeah, because I think that was 1990, so I was like 18. So I don't know how old, he's like, 3 years older than me, so yeah, he would have been like 21. Like,
and like still shredding quite hard then, or was he?
He was pro,
right?
Like he was like one of the. You got to remember back then there was like a handful of pros.
Yeah.
It wasn't like every
Tom, Dick, and Harry
had like 200 guys that were pro. Like like I was thinking about this today because some guy commented. Like he was like, oh yeah, like he was in some Facebook group, and some guy was like, oh. Don't everyone hate me, but I never thought Grosso was that amazing skateboarder. And I was like, what? Like, he's fucking everything about skateboarding. Like, what you're thinking of, you're breaking down tricks, so you're going, well, he didn't do as many tricks as Tony Hawk. And like, yeah, but that's like one thing, Like, if that was all important, you go, well, Nigel's the best street skater or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's not. I mean, he's fucking amazing, but there's another 100 people that you'd probably rather watch or that you look up to. Like, Grosso, I don't know how many pro comps he ever won back in those days. I don't think it was that many. Like, if any. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that same, like, for the same reason that I liked Jason Jesse back then as well. They were just like, fucking... there's more to being a skateboarder and than just doing tricks.
Than just ticking off tricks, yeah.
I was thinking about it in terms of music. Like, your favourite bands probably your favourite band isn't the guy that's best at playing the guitar in the world, or best at playing the piano or the bass or the drums or whatever. You're like, there's more to it than that. Like, that's what's, someone like Jeff Grosso was like a genuine person. Like, he was just a loudmouth, like he had his... You look at them all, and like Tony Hawk's kind of like the nerdy technician guy, and then there's Hazoy, which is kind of like the show-off guy, and then Jason Jesse, like the fucking weirdo. Like they were all, that's what it was. They were personality. They were superstars. Like they were personalities. If you lived in that sort of late 80s, early 90s skateboarding, and you got to remember, them guys were like, all the Santa Cruz guys, Grosso, Dressen, Kendall, and then all the Bones Brigade guys, and like there's numerous others, but they've been there since day one.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's what people maybe don't grasp. Like maybe the younger kids have just seen Love Letters or whatever. They're like, Grosso hasn't learned all that. He was there. Like, he was pro in like 88 or whatever, and he's been obviously, aside from a few bouts of heroin addiction or whatever, he was around all the way through.
Yeah.
And like, there's a handful of people like that. It's not like thousands of people. It's like probably not even 100.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that weird thing that skateboarding is still young enough that people still exist that were there at the very very beginning. I mean,
Well, look at like Alan Gelfand. You can literally the
yeah,
guy that invented the most important thing, like the turning point in skateboarding, is still alive. I saw a thing the other day. I didn't know this, but the guy that actually invented the skateboard died.
right,
Like I can't remember his name, but that's way before my time. I'm guessing that's like the 50s. But he just died the other day.
right,
I can't remember his name. But you know what I mean? Like, it is a really young sport. And, like, we always talk about this, just how accessible it is. Like, you could go to pretty much, you know, like, everyone I've seen on my Facebook feed has got pictures of them with Grosso. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
oh, I met him at this demo, I met him at this comp, I met him. Like, that's the mad thing with skateboarding. It's so accessible. Like, especially if you go to California. If you go to California, you're basically, at any point, you'll probably bump into most of them dudes. Like, because they're just out there skating as well.
yeah, yeah, and
like, you don't get that with football. You don't
no,
go and kick a ball down the park. Go, oh, you never guess what? I was kicking a ball down the park earlier and Beckham turned up. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't happen.
just having a kick about with
Like,
Rooney. It was well great.
yeah, like it might happen it obviously happens in surfing, like,
yeah,
you know, like, or yeah, I'm sure, yeah, BMX or similar
maybe
sports,
snowboarding. Yeah,
but a lot of that, like, oh, I was just out jogging the other day and hooked up
the,
with Usain Bolt and
the
done
old
a few laps.
the old Mo Farah came about. We did a quick marathon together. It was a great laugh.
It's a
Yeah,
right laugh.
yeah,
It just doesn't really happen. Like, it's what makes skateboarding unique. And like, going back to like people that don't understand that just break it down to tricks is
yeah.
like,
Who's performed what tricks, as opposed to,
stupid.
I mean, again, a little bit later on from that, but like, especially that '90s era. I remember going to the Radlands comp in '96, and the next thing I know, I'm like stood chatting with Mike Vallely and Jason Ellis, and I'm just like, oh my god, you know,
Oh
like
yeah, like,
just
yeah. I mean,
like not even a thing.
that era was like. I mean, you're younger than me, aren't you? So you would have been really young then. So like those Radlands comps that era, I was sort of like 24, 20.
I was 17. Yeah,
Yeah. So it was like, but yeah, there was loads of stuff back then. Like in the 90s, you could like, it seems mental now, but you just like,
you'd just be chilling with those guys, with the pros.
I like, yeah. I mean, I was telling someone about this the other day about being in a restaurant and Tony Hawk was sat there with his wife next to us after a comp, and he just kept asking us to stop swearing.
You told me that story.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, you know, like that. I thought it was you that I was talking to, and it's like that stuff was fairly common. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't like. There was one day I was skating at Rampage, like Leon Sea Park, with. There was me and one of my friends there. It was like a Monday or something. We weren't at uni. And Alfonso Rawls and Omar Hassan just turned up. And it was literally me and my mate. I think there was maybe... I don't think there was even anyone else at the park. I remember it was one of them days where it's almost raining, like it's damp in the air. And it was just shit. It was like grey. It must have been autumn or, you know, like early spring. And yeah, them two turned up because there was an event on that weekend, and they'd come over like a day or two early, and they just turned up and absolutely tore the park a new one. Like, they weren't even trying.
Wow.
Just like but you know that shit. I mean, it still happens now. I'm sure you can just be at South Bank and someone randomly just turns up. Like,
Yeah.
It's not. It's just.
I mean, I always got the impression as well, because I used to love watching those love letters, and like I had a rough idea of Grosso's standing in skateboarding. You know, like I'm not one of those who's just some old dude who did love letters when he I've got a rough idea of what he gave skateboarding, and certainly my impression was that he reminded us, as I've already said previously, like not to take ourselves too seriously. And that skateboarding's important and it's amazing and it's a wonderful thing, but just don't get up your own arse about it. We're just playing on a plank of wood.
And also that other thing I always took from him was that he was popular and he was like really nice dude, but also he didn't give a fuck. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
about, I want everyone to like me. It's just like, I think this. Don't like it, fuck off.
Yeah.
But this is what I think. This is how you do this trick. This person did it the best. If you're not doing it like that, you're
not
shit.
you're not doing it. Yeah.
But that's like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like skateboarding. Like, I mean, he talked about that stuff all the time. About it was never, people never got into it back then to be cool or to go to the Olympics, or just got into it because it didn't really belong anywhere else. And
all the freaks, and I only just caught the very tail end of that, and I've always said that's why that's part of why skateboarding appealed to me, because I'm not a team sport player. I don't want to play football or rugby or any of that caper. Like, when I met the other skateboarders, I was like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. I played football when I was like in junior school or whatever, like infant school. But my dad was really into football. Me and my brother, we used to go around and kick the ball around the park. And then really the first thing that I remember that ever really like took me was riding BMXs. Like, me and my brother just went mental for that. Like, just, yeah, this is us, you know what I mean? Right. Like, we can just fucking jump stuff, and like, it was like kind of the precursor to me getting into skateboarding, and then when that sort of led on, because around that time the mags would have BMX and skateboarding in them, and like, I think like if you live at the coast and you're around surfing, you're more likely to come across skateboarding organically, whereas like, I grew up in southeast London, so everyone had bikes, so BMX was sort of quite organic for us. Like, we had grifters, and then we got BMXs, but then when I got more into BMX, all the mags would always have skating in as well, and then like we sort of drifted into skating from that. But it was the first thing, BMX and skateboarding, because they were really similar back then as well. Like, they still have a lot of similarities now, obviously, with skate parks and stuff like that.
With the culture.
And that was the first thing that I ever was like, oh yeah, this is me. Like, this is where I belong. The kind of people that are into this are the kind of people that I can relate to.
And yeah, as we were saying, that is something that Grosso would bring up quite often and talk about quite openly. And clearly considered himself one of those sort of freaks and geeks and weirdos that.
Yeah, like, I think it's different now, but like, you can have classes, and it's like, even my parents' attitude to skateboarding is very different these days. But when I got into it, it was like, I remember specifically my mum and dad saying, I guess it was my dad, I don't get why you're into this. Like, you're a smart kid, you go to grammar school, what are you into this for? Like, they couldn't understand it. It was like, in the same way surfing was in the early days, I guess it was kind of like, don't know, losers. Well, that's what losers did, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what was so good about it, and that's, in a way, I feel that's sort of what's lost.
Yeah. He was definitely an advocate for that, for remembering that element of skateboarding, which I think he felt was important, and I think a lot of us slightly older guys do think is important. That, like you say, it's not about ticking off tricks, it's not about conforming, it's not about performing particularly very well during competitions or anything. It's about the culture and the attitude of skateboarding.
Yeah, it amazes me how many people can spend so much time skateboarding but not really have any knowledge or interest in its sort of history and its culture. Like, maybe I'm a bit different, but when I get into something, like, I used to read the mags from cover to cover, I wanted to know everything about it. Not so much now, but I almost can't help but, like, absorb it now, because everyone I know is into skateboarding, and everything I've ever done has been about skateboarding, really. So you kind of... But when I was younger, I was like... I would almost, like, memorise the mags. Like you can go now. Like I can still remember photos, or like someone posted. I can't remember. There was a photo earlier. Someone posted it. I was like, "Yep, I had that one on my wall." Like I still remember that from like sounds like 35 years ago.
Mm.
You know, like that's crazy. Like 33 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
You can remember taking a picture out of a magazine, like, oh, that looks rad. I'm putting that on my bedroom wall. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I fully remember that sort of. Yeah, my old room when I was a teenager was like floor to ceiling, covered in skateboard, like cut up rad magazines. Yeah.
How many of them? How many people that you had photos on your wall do you now know? That's the funniest one.
Some of them were American, some of them were British.
Have you met them though? Like I think about that. I had like basically my whole wall was like wallpapered with like photos out of Rad and like Transworld and Thrasher and stuff. And I think back now, and I think I've probably met like 80-90% of the people that were like in the posters on my walls.
The major thing of that is that I've got some old footage from Radlands like 95 or something, where there's like Ali Bar flying around.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked out.
I bet he was old even then, wasn't he?
Well, the thing is, there's like little 16-year-old Brett trying to do like little nollies and that over like the little tiny hip and all that, and Ali's just like flying around like fuck tricks. He's just like pure carving and flying around. And then I figured out roughly how old he is, and then figured out, oh yeah, that's about the same sort of age that I started just doing more of that stuff and less fanning around with tricks and more just like fuck it, I just want to drop in and skate to the other side. Like who cares about tricks? Like leave that to the kids to do.
Tricks are overrated.
Yeah.
Tricks are kids.
Just ride around fast on that and see what happens. See if you can keep up with Abgood. That's like good enough. Like what more do you want than that? Like yeah. So yeah, it's really funny. It's gone full cycle, and I'm now doing what he was doing in that footage.
You're turning into Ali Bar.
And now I know him a little bit, like enough to like see him and say hi to him and know who he is, and yeah, like I didn't know who. Like to me, in that like little 16-year-old Brett, he was just some like older guy who like, oh, I'm sure he's done some skateboarding before. You know, I had no idea that he was.
Me and Church were having this conversation where you essentially become generationally irrelevant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You've been doing it for so long that people don't even know what you've done.
Yeah.
Like that is, like that's kind of like kids come in my shop and I'll be talking about something and I'm like, oh yeah, I did this, and they were like, I wasn't even born then.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, like that fucking freaks me out. And that's going back in a massive loop. That's why all that love letter shit's important. Because unless you like hunt that stuff down, kids don't know that shit.
No.
Like you've got to, and you can't appreciate tricks and like skateboarding and like even video sections. You can't like watch a modern section and then without going, oh well, so and so did that down that same rail, but 20 years ago, and now so and so's just done that, but like flipped into it. Like that's mental. Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you appreciate it so much more if
you're able to put it into context, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And like that like kids coming, kid like a 17-year-old kid that's like, oh, I just learned Madonnas, and you're like, oh yeah, so and so invented them in like 86, and they're like, what? Like my dad was born in 86. You know what I mean? Like it's like it gives it some kind of like thousands of people have done them before you. Like yeah, like there's a whole or whatever. Like
it's scary that like 90s shaped boards are coming back as a thing or as a fashion thing, and you're just like, dude, that was only 5 minutes ago. Oh no, hang on a minute. No, it wasn't, was it? It wasn't 5 minutes ago. Like,
yeah,
God,
that's that whole time frame of skateboarding is weird because like even stuff that I've done, I think, oh yeah, that was like pretty recent. Then I'm like, oh no, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about like, yeah, say those Radlands comps.
Yeah.
That's like 25 years ago now. Like that, and even like you say, that seems like in the grand scheme of skateboarding, that's like almost seems like middle. That is like middle ground to me because I've been skating quite a while before that sort of. Yeah, like I was skating before popsicle boards and stuff, so that was like a sort of. Sorry, my low battery thing just came up. That was like, that was a transitional phase that I sort of was skated through.
Right. Okay. We could have a history lesson forever.
Not from me. I don't know enough.
I love talking to you about this stuff, but Corona, you're keeping safe. People can keep ordering stuff from the shop. Remind us of your website.
I mean, essentially, like, yeah, I'm doing everything the same as normal. I'm going to the shop every day, and yeah, if you want to order something, skatepharm.co.uk, I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird time, isn't it? Because no one's ever dealt with anything like it, and especially my generation or younger, we've never really faced any kind of adversity.
Yeah.
Like we've had pretty cruisy lives in terms of like world drama. We've not lived through any major, in this country, we've not lived through any major conflict. Like we've had it pretty cushy, really. So like, I mean, even now, if you're not actually ill, like you're still having it pretty cushy. We got these like and the fact that most people are getting paid. Like I bumped into one of my mates out the front of the house earlier, and he's on like 80% pay from Carhartt. Works in a Carhartt store. They're just like, yeah, just go home. So it's not like there's even any financial hardship for a lot. I mean, a lot of people are fucked, but a lot aren't. A lot are like. So it's not exactly massive adversity, but I think it's like it's weird, like it's surreal, isn't it? It's bizarre. I just try and my way of dealing with stuff is I don't think about it. I don't think like if I start overthinking about this, it will freak me out.
Right.
So I'll just get up in the morning and go to the shop and put some paint on the wall and send out the orders and try and keep some sense of normality and routine. Like if I was in my flat all day, I'd probably be going nuts by now because I'm not very good at. I don't play video games and like I'm not. I'll watch a bit. I'll watch films and stuff like, but I'm not one that like. I'm not a massive TV watcher. I'm just like. Yeah, I could easily go nuts, but I'm managing it pretty well.
Good.
Yeah, I think if I was young, I really feel like at my age I can really take or leave skateboarding, and I feel for anyone who's in their 20s or whatever who's at their peak of like loving skating. I can't live. I skate every day. Like man, I think back what I would be like in this. I'd be going fucking nuts, like literally nuts. But like. Yeah, so I feel for anyone in that predicament. That's kind of bullshit. It's funny, isn't it? Because all the people that have got like backyard mini ramps and stuff, they're gonna come out of this like all tanned up and ripping. And, like people like me, like like live in a flat, got no outdoor space, like gonna come out all pasty like Gollum or whatever, like can't even push down the street anymore.
And on that great mental image of like the Powley Gollum, we'll leave it there. The Skate Pharm precious, right? Brilliant, Nic. Thank you very much for your time as always.
That's all right. Sorry, I'm a bit sleepy.
That's all right. No, I'll leave you to have a little sleep, have a little nap, go to bed.
I'm gonna watch some more Mandalorian and drink some more Horlicks. I think.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
my evening. Take it easy.
Right.
Don't go too crazy.
No, I'll try not to.
I hope everyone else is doing all right. I feel for them. I'm just good at doing nothing.
So you're chilling.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Years of training.
Brilliant. Right. Say goodbye, Powley. Thank you.
Bye, Powley. Take care. See you later.